it's one thing when a lot of kids have those things together, but to come work with our kids is another level. And he looked me in the eye and said, "You got it." And we started the Links program specifically to reduce the number of kids entering into a life incarceration. A lot of kids, we have 3,000 kids that come through our juvenile hall. To come work, and I would say 5 years ago, another lot of schools and programs were there. We started in California, we spent $252,000 a year to incarcerate a kid in the old youth authority. And we spent $96,000 a year to house them here in Sacramento. And the system set up is once you get in, it's really hard to get out. And if you look at our community schools, we have somewhere around 700 kids that come through our doors who've been expelled. And many, once you get expelled, the school districts make it difficult for the transition back. So we made a full commitment that to finish with us if you choose, to go back to your district if you choose. And I want to leave you with just 3 important things about our relationship with UCAN. And first, I think you take the acronym UCAN. I was personally one who thrived my whole life on people that told me I couldn't. And they say you can't. That, I don't really need a lot of strokes, but when someone tells me I can't do something, that's what I like to challenge. And I still to this day thank my 7th grade coach, Mr. Carlson, for cutting me from basketball. And when I was inducted in the Hall of Fame in college, I told him he got an invite for cutting me because it single-handedly drove me day in and day out to work to prove him wrong. And I honestly think for all you in the room today, it's really important. There are going to be people who are trying to pull you down. And that's just the nature of the world we live in. And I think that's why we did a presentation today with a couple of students. I want to thank Fernando over here that we went out and talked, but they really, we told them that the whole gist of what we're trying to do is get some kids out of town. I knew I had to leave my house because I had too many people around me that wanted to party all the time, still be in high school. So I had to get out of the Bay Area. And it was just my choice. I could have gone to some local colleges, but I wanted to get away. Mostly, you get tired of your parents always telling you what to do. So part of that first thing I want to tell you is the people that say you can't is what drives myself, Mr. Kavanaugh, and our staff. Secondly, that you will start to become what I call, you're going to start walking and talking like a college type kid. Now, I take a look at, is it Fernando right here? I saw him today, walked into a foundation meeting, a bunch of high-end business people. He was dressed, he had nice shoes on today, nice shoes. But he also presented himself like a man ready to go to college. Our campuses have kids that want to play around, act like, young kids. It's time for you young men and women to act different, act more like you're a college-bound student, and become part of a new family. I had 6 kids over at my house before they took off. I invited them for dinner, and really it was a ceremony to say, I invite you to my house for a reason because you're our first group of kids taking a big step for us. And it was a beautiful day, a beautiful experience. Have those kids in my house with my family. And we had a really, really incredible dinner and the whole 9 yards. That's the new family you're in. Here's what I told those 6 kids. Some of them may fail, but we're back here to provide support for anybody who bounces back. My son had 3 college roommates at Cal Poly. And all 3 never made it. 2 didn't make it through their freshman year, and 1 didn't make it through their sophomore year. My son's a junior, he's hung in there. And, as a parent, I've never been this poor because I'm paying for college bills. But I noticed that his friends that were his freshmen, those parents, when they came back, upper class parents keep trying to get them back to JC, help them out, hopefully they'll finish. And that's what we're here for you today. And then the last thing I want to point out to you is, the parents, I mean, this is overwhelming. I never remember sitting in there. My first kid went to college. It was 800 parents down in Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. And it was the engineering department. So you had all these Star Trek nerd parents and me, all their clipboards. But I was just overwhelmed. Where's the DOLA? Where's applications? And this program, unlike I think if you go to some of the state universities, when you see you're on your own, it's like a war zone. You're putting all these applications out, you don't know what to do. You will get a ton of support and help and be able to network with each other. It is an expense. You're investing in your kid's future, but to me, it's the most important one you take. So on behalf of the county office and for all of us, you can be ambassadors for us so we don't see more kids going into a life of prison. This is very important to us. We think it's become our inner core of what we're trying to do with kids, is say, instead of prison, where the system really says, come try something else with us, which is a life of college and career. So on that note, great to see everybody. We look forward to the next 3-4 months. I don't know if I got to go for dinner next time. That's a lot more than 6 people here. But I really appreciate your time, and on behalf of our superintendent, thanks for being here tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna cancel that because I want to go back into I'm gonna escape here, shrink the window, and I'm still sharing, so I just have to be on my channel here because these are my videos. And I was at a public meeting, and truly, they were talking about, what the services were happening for the children in Sacramento. And so when you start understanding how much they were actually spending, let me find this guy. Where is he? He's here somewhere. It's here. I just have to be calm here for a second. This one. Listen to this.
And my little brother was there, and I said, well, I'm not going to mess up too bad, because this is the cool black place I want to go to. Because this actually is a detention center. You wear orange jumpsuits in the whole 9 yards. There's also the Gerber Community School, and then there's also the Illinois Hickory, the Obamer, and then we have the community schools. And also we have the North Area, what's it called? Morgan Alternative Center. So we have students that are in all types of programs in the county. And our goal and our objective is to make sure we get all of those students into college and give them options. Before we started tonight, I was talking to Stan. And Stan and I were talking about the state system, the UC and CSU system, and even the community college system. It's even harder now to get into the community college because they have to cut classes, they have to restrict the number of students that they're going to take in. The state system, the CSU system, or the UC system is becoming harder to get in for everybody. So what we do at UPenn is ensure that you go to college. I guarantee February 9, 2010, I guarantee we'll get every student here into a UNIBER-SITY.
University?
But that's been university, okay, just make sure, right? Make sure I spell it right. Okay. So we're gonna make sure we get everybody into college. That's what we're gonna do. The important thing is how to make sure that that process is clear and understandable for you. So what we started in September and October, we started with Brother Burgess. What's your name?
No, cancel. I have to go back into my, because I was parted that out, but that's not the part I was looking for. So, gotta escape first. Back to my channel. Your channel. Because y'all, no matter what I say, I've lived through this already. I have knowledge. But until people hear it out of their own mouths, they just don't understand the knowledge. They don't understand what's happening. They don't even understand the process. And it's amazing to me that they don't. And so I gotta get here. Why did I do that? I'm gonna see all my videos. Mm, 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 mm. I have some really popular videos too. Most of my videos that were popular had to do with, oh, look, I have more views and I have more than usual. So obviously, wisdom is doing something for me. And so is, I don't think it's the other program. I really don't. Here we go. I'm surprised. Let's look at this for a second. It has quite a few views.
Why aren't you the landlord? Yes, you. Why aren't you the landlord?
There we go.
Very same kind of discrimination that I used to see and experience as a boy in Alabama. There was a song of that era. Some of you are old enough to remember, perhaps. It was called "Smiling Faces."
Yeah.
And every time I listen to my oldie station and I hear that song, it makes me think of that conversation, and it makes me think of how far we have come since those times, in my estimation, because I think we have made real strides, but yet how far we have yet to go.
Yes.
That it is important that we're here today, no matter what the size of the group. It's important to mark these occasions. It's important to remember that this struggle is not over, that the cause of freedom has to be fought for every day, that opportunity has to be secured every day, and that we owe it to our fellow human beings to stand up for their chance to be free, to pursue their dreams, to be everything their talent and hard work will allow them to be, regardless of where they come from, regardless of who they love, regardless of what they look like, regardless of what religion they practice, because we are all the same under the skin. And so I mark this day by being thankful that Abraham Lincoln was president in his time, that he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, and that it calls us each and every day to renew and reaffirm our commitment to realizing the principles of freedom and opportunity wherever we may be, whatever we may do. Thank you all for being here.
That was great.
Oh, and we have a resolution marking the 150th. Thank you, Kula. I got carried away.
It's okay.
Marking the 150th anniversary of the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation, which I signed on behalf of the California State Assembly. I'm going to give this to you, Michael. All right. There you go.
Yes.
Ernie.
It matches.
I like it.
I heard that.
Would you like to please, please? What's the, thanks.
Okay. You got it.
On your birthday.
I'm a
It
birthday.
means a lot.
It is.
Yes.
Cancel that. Cancel that. I'm going to go back into my videos because I have just lots of videos, and I see that, people, I don't know what they do with their time. If they're watching television, it's telling you the vision. I'm going to get on where Dick Gregory is, my channel. Because he's on my channel, because I got to meet him one time. One time was real. I have to go to my videos here. And then I'm going to go to sort by, the most popular, because then that's where you're going to see. We'll do this one first, and then we'll just part one, then we'll find part two, and then we'll go all the way how many parts are here. And then we're gonna talk about the poverty pimps in California, but let's just start here.
First, let me say thanks to those of you responsible. It's easy, all I have to do is just produce a bond. But a whole lot of work goes into making something like this. For all of you who put that work together to make this happen. The invisible people. You never see. Never see. The ones that do the dirty work. The mic didn't just pop up like this, the chair didn't pop up like this. And unbeknown to us, after we leave here tonight, there'll be unknown folks who nobody cares about, who come in and clean this room. So we say thank you. Put together a bunch of evil, ungodly thugs. And we've been around them for so long, we part of them, except they know what they do. We don't. We like drug addicts in the state of the night. State of the night. We have Thanksgiving. Few of us think about a prayer to our Indian brothers and sisters. We live in the country that was stolen from them. Don't you worry about it, you go see. If I come by your house and steal your house tonight while you're here, you get home, I'm occupying it. Once my family move in with it, then the evil is here. So you can sit and talk about what's happened to the Indians, but look in the mirror and see you as one. And then they had the nerve enough to steal your house. And when you came home, I opened the door and say, "Savage, what you want?" I just stole your house, killed everybody, but you savage. All that's about to get corrected. And dirty things happen to you and your family. I hope you're glad. I have to go to Budapest every week to a peace conference. Oh, they love it. They just so. Just as filthy as the Rockefellers. My ticket cost me $24,000 round trip. And I paid tax on it, and they take the tax off my ticket and drop it on women and children all over the world. So when the shit fall on my family, I just say, even baby, most of y'all won't be that honest. You send your little punky boys to war to kill folks they don't even know. Especially black folks, so we can get some GI Bill. Anytime you violate the universe, I'm not talking about the church, that universal God to kill people or get killed just so you can go to college and feed your family. Oh, what a trip coming for you. See, the good thing about the real God I talk about, Catholic Church and folks and all that crap. I'm talking about the same God that made the Jews, made the Germans. The same God that made the slaves, made the slave masters. And now every so often the reckoning time comes on its way down.
Amen.
On this way now. This was wrong with the weather. Right. And white folks still are, big, powerful white folks still arguing about it. They want to bring me in if I get into my nigger bag. What you think about global warming? Oh, I don't know nothing about no global warming. I'm trying to figure it out myself. But yeah. They had that ice out there bigger than mountains. It's melting. I don't know why it melting, but I know been here. Now they leaving. Polar bears acting crazy. I don't know nothing about that, but something wrong about it. I'm trying to get away from you, because I know it's gonna get you first. And then we always talk about, what about the children? What about you? We're the only people in the world, black folks, that look for our children. Anytime these thugs want to go to war and steal minerals, they don't look for children. What about the children?
What about the children?
Activity. 12 grandchildren. 1 great. Been married 55 years. Whoa! Y'all won't get, I didn't say I was happy.
Slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Children. We talking about the universe. We ain't talking about the church. 10. What does that mean? The real God gave me the privilege to produce 10 dollars. Because that's what you do. $10. And nobody can tell you somebody. We all got here the same way. My daddy put his penis in my mother's vagina. Just like your dad did. Now let's stop it there and reevaluate what happened.
Wait, you're in the way.
500 million sperm came out of me, into you. 500 million. Think about it. And the one responsible for me, like the one responsible for you, outran 500 million sperm and got there first. That's who you are. And if you let somebody reduce you down to some insignificant nothing.
Oh my God.
Just think of that. Think when I come in the Bible and y'all got 5 billion, you got a 500,000 restaurants in town. 500 million, and you're gonna take me to the best one. I'm in for a hell of a meal. Well, that's who you are. So that universal God privileged you to create 10 gods. And didn't ask me what color, what school did you go to, how much money you got. Huh? I give it to you, that's what it says. Now I got to look in the mirror and think about 10 children. And I never had an affair with my wife with another God. I could get me some pussy.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
And now you understand why 79% of all marriages in America end up in divorce.
Jason.
I've been married 50 times, but mine was easy. Mine didn't have no love. My mother said, those one of mine, the other girl pregnant and won't marry. I hate them with my mom. Happens every day, Mom. Good part about my mother. She got to stay. You had to stay with her. I just went through the motion. Something I don't like it. Where is it? Oh, no. So I love you, baby. If I can't have you, nobody gonna have you. Sound like something wrong. Yeah. So I said, all right, baby, look, you got pregnant. I got you. So I'm like, love didn't have nothing. He said, what do you mean? I said, I mean that if you want this to last, I'm gonna tell you how to last. Not about love, can you be loved? Say it. It's fine. Make millions, never had a checking account. She had all. Well, I know you are. Strongest two forces in the history of America. Black woman and black. You, if you had to clap at me, you didn't know it. $1 million in the bank, and I tell you, if you clap, it means you didn't know what's there. And see, you white folks, you need to listen to black folks. They be saying some stuff. See, the strongest two forces, let me tell you, the only woman on the planet, Black American woman, that will take a butter knife and cut your ties down to the ribs. Be out doing yoga and shit. We know y'all ain't studying how to check butter knife. So inside her. You don't even get mad. Just ask the nigga who's Mel. And he went off. Just going home too. Drove his bad boy. He put his clothes on, going to see Mel. Jumped in that car and he's on rims. You did that. They never studied it. Didn't get no help. Brothers, y'all ain't spirits yet. When she asks you who Melba is, you better go rearrange your car. Some civil rights movement, 98% folks at the forefront had reverend in front of their name before they had PhD. 68% was women, but that's not reflected. But remember one thing, when the universal God gives you, it leaves no footprints. It don't have to be validated by the New York Times. That's why Washington Post or NBC or CBS. So now we have to come together and stop the violations. Leave these children alone. You don't qualify. If my mother and father had blonde hair and blue eyes, and I showed up tonight looking like this, I got some explaining to do, right? Why? Because I'm a reflection of who? My parents. All this stuff that go on, they're a reflection of you. You might not know it. But what did you do so wrong, sister? That a black child that came out of your belly is standing on the corner. You 80 years old, got to go to the drugstore and get your medicine, and you have to walk through them niggas that you produced. And there's a universal God said, anytime you're afraid of something that came out your belly, you better hear what I'm trying to tell you. And don't have it takes to go out there and confront that thug. Huh? He might kill you. Well, sure, it came from you. Why should he kill my mom? So go out there and say, look, don't tell him he can't sell dope. You ain't the police, but you're not going to sell it on this corner. It's that simple. That's simple. Somewhere. This is Black History Month. I tell you, youngsters. Woo, that's progress. But see, it used to be Negro History Week. I mean, y'all know that. We moved from a week to a month. But wouldn't you know when they give us a month, be that month of February with all them days missing? I love white folks so clever. Groundhog Day. February the 2nd is Groundhog Day. And that means if the groundhog sees what? Come on now, what? 6 more weeks of winter, right? I said, kids, don't do it. I mean, you get home tonight, take your pen and a piece of paper out, and make a month, February, with 28 days. That's it? Now, spring don't come till March 21st, right? Huh? Right. Don't you know from February the 2nd to March 21st is 6 weeks? It's got a damn thing to do with it. So y'all got a water show on the show? It's gonna mess us all up. You know, about 86% of most of our vegetables come from here. Just think about those 6.5. So, and so again, I say, you know, thank God I was here. Thank God for Dr. King and the movement. Thank God for a white boy named John Brown. Had it not been for John Brown, the world wouldn't be the way it is. John Brown, my man. He led a raid on Harper's Ferry in Virginia. White boy. With 26 people, 5 black. Then y'all see the movie Jamie Foxx. Right, Django Unchained.
Django.
It's a real story. Django.
It's a real story.
In real life, his name is Dangerfield Newby. He was the one. He's the first person who died in Harper's Ferry. They found a letter. The letter they talked about in the movie, it was in his pocket. Well, I have a problem with that. Because the way them white folks hated folks back then, why would they keep a letter? A love letter. And then it dawned on me, they couldn't read or write. They didn't know what that was. That's how a lot of us escaped slavery. Sheriff jumped out, nigga, where you going? You cut your piece, nigga. Yeah, but he freed me. Said, well, nigga, you better have that letter. You know the sheriff couldn't read, you just took any letter. Nigga, you better leave your ass over.
Okay, cancel that. Okay, I gotta cancel. I'm gonna escape. I didn't get. I'm not gonna do We All Be. Although I do subscribe to We All Be. I gotta go back to my channel so we can get part 2 of my channel. Oh, there is just so many ways technology offers us as individuals to empower ourselves. And if you don't understand that in America, going back to the oldest, freedom, now I'm going to go to the most popular. There we go. And I got to go to part 2. There we go. This is next.
October 12th.
It's only 5 minutes, so I'll be right here. Enlarge it. There we go.
I had no
Still sharing.
office. Our children don't see it. Quiet period every October 12th. I go to Father's Ferry and say thank Child God's Spirit. Why? He took 2 of his boys. Nobody's paying the abolitions. There was no money involved. Kids don't know. Took his 2 sons. Now I'll die. For black folks, I'll die. I don't live in no ghetto. I ain't gonna live in no ghetto, but I'll come back and help you. I'm not living. John Brown took his 2 children. They killed in office. What a human thing. You know what it's like to watch your children die in front of you? Did you know that? They carried John Brown to the hospital, operated on him, and prepared him for trial. Y'all know. And so they gave him a trial, found him guilty, sentenced him to hang. So that's why I go there on my birthday. Say thank you. Good old John. See, you white folks have to leave. See, I'm not like most black folks. A whole lot of black folks say shit in front of you and call you a homie. When you leave, I'll call you a homie. Niggas are baby. Say that in front of me. And most of y'all don't even know what a homie is. See, prostitution was for the benefit of white men. Had a guy in St. Louis doing radio show. You mean white men don't have prostitution? My sister, I get after you because you come on soaking wet, but I don't have to pay. And so it was always in the Negro neighborhood, so they didn't have to worry about bumping into their white friends. Black folk couldn't go to the whole house. And I was in college, Southern Illinois University. Black woman ran the whole house for the white college, called Manhattan. So the way it worked is the white dudes would pull up in the car,
Honky, honky.
the whole house here, they would honk the horn. Honk.
Oh, no.
Then this big giant nigga would come out. They know they feel safe with him. He'd check in the house and go find the car. EMF. Don't think it's a nasty word.
They're sending me something Facebook.
We're gonna get reparations. 60 years from now, and all you black folks don't think you deserve it, y'all be dead. You white folks be dead by then. And you you know who gonna get reparations for you? Them same major white law firms that got 40% of the cigarette sale. This is about business. And all y'all that don't want it, just be a little note. Brother Greg deserved mine. I don't even understand how you guys can be so stupid. You don't want no welfare. Are you crazy? What's wrong with free money? I don't want no welfare on your way to play the lottery.
Oh, this is it. I gotta cancel this because I'm only gonna rebroadcast my stuff. I escape. Gotta go to the little window. Go back to my channel. Your channel. There we go. And then we gotta go to your videos, and then we're gonna go to sort them by the most popular. Back again. So here we are in part 3. How many parts are there? I don't know. I just love Dick Gregory. I could have loved him forever. Here we go. This is part 3.
I have a business, huge business. I can leave here tonight and take 3 homes all the way around the world, first class, as long as I got enough sense to call my secretary. It's a tax. Thank you, John Brown. My birthday, that's why I would go up to the courthouse and I walk down to the street, turn left, walk 2 blocks, turn right, walk 3.5 blocks, and that tree, they hanged it still there. And I go back on October the 16th, that's the day that he led the race. And then I go back December the 2nd, Charleston, West Virginia, that's the day. They say, nigga, loving, you got anything to say? I say, yes, what I'm fixing to die for is I'm doing this in defense of rich white men. I be your hero. And he walked up the scaffold, and here's what he said. Oh, by the way, I talked to God last night. God told me to tell you, it's the last chance to free the Negro. But he also told me to tell you the Negro will be free and be the biggest bloodbath in the history of the planet. See what I think about this? Alligators, brother. Why was that bloodbath so big? It's the only war fought on the planet that all the top generals on both sides went to the same school, West Point. They know each other's strategy. And because of that, insignificant, so they thought, we are here now. One man. Dr. King, one man. You can do the same thing. Especially you black men that punk out. You go to war for this thug. Kill people you don't know. Cops shoot your mama in the back of the head 40 times, and you nigga don't come home and do nothing. Think you a man. Somewhere. You ever turned on TV or picked up the news and hear white folk crying because this black cop shot my son in the back of the head 40 times? You ever saw that?
You ain't gonna see
No, why do you think you have to? Black cops are more spiritual? Black cops, they're trained. No, them niggas know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate. Huh? That's how easy it is. And all you black men and you women too, You ain't never heard a black man say that white nigga hate cop took his gun and shot my car. He'll kill your mama, your child, you. But he won't mess with your car, because if you mess with your car, brother, something comes over you. And I'm not on top of it. This dirty, evil, vicious cop out here, this nigga hate thug. But he won't shoot your car. Huh? He knows he's in trouble. He'll shoot your car. So now we in a different vibration. In the early days of the civil rights movement, we end up in the early days, this here where you sitting now. Oh, you playing games with yourself. Oh, you be playing games with yourself. Oh, California not like that. That's how come y'all ain't got no waters. Well, Jerry, you cool. He a lovely old white boy. What do you do?
You put more men in prison. Shit.
And so this whole thing is big turnaround. Think about my mother. My mother worked so hard. In Christmas, this always took a single mother. You black folk buying anything. Now you black women stand by and let us tell you, the problem with black community, ain't no black man at home. Wait home. Somewhere. Mama Mary, you can't have no more family values than the Italians. Mama Mary, go to church every day. Confess. Now that's some fun shit. 7 o'clock in the morning, the mob runs in. I got to do this quick. I killed 27 people last night, and I got 12 more I got to get for noon. You white folks, if you have never been to a black church, especially a Baptist, you owe that to yourself. Or they get down. Baptist church a couple of weeks ago, and the sister in the choir. You know, those of y'all that go to black churches, you see no fat women until you get next to the choir. She asked me, she said, can you tell me what I need to do to lose weight? I'm a hoe around. She said, wait a minute, I ain't never seen a fat hoe. Me a hoe follow around.
Oh my goodness. I ain't gonna have all this shaking video.
I mean, I was a little boy. I remember my parents talking so much about sin and hellfire. I didn't understand anything about the real God till I was grown. All they've been telling me about is the devil. And then I noticed something really strange. I ain't never seen a fat devil. The devil in the hole must be evil. I ain't never heard of a devil being assassinated. Buddha, king, all the decent people get killed. The devil just be sitting there. I live in a Christian society. I went to a high school named the Sumner High School Blue Devil. You named your school after the devil, but you couldn't name the school after Jesus. Duke University, they're the Blue Devil. Wake Forest, the Demon Devil. I've seen demons, I've seen devils, I've never seen both of them together. Somewhere. How old are you, brother? Can you recognize a whole just by their demeanor? I asked you a question, you know, special school we used to go. Can you see a hole walking down the street and know the hole just by the door? You ain't gonna so long. I mean, think about that. You can recognize a hole by the way she walk, the way she shake her hips, the way she wear them wigs. Say, don't it bother you? You can recognize a hole without her telling you a hole. But if I don't tell you you're a Christian, I'm a Christian, you don't know I'm something wrong. Something. But the power, those of you that have been to Catholic Church, you think that's power? These black folks, they have communion once a month. Because they know that shit ain't gonna change. Oh, God, help me to break my drug addiction. You got that much in the back home. So, black church, one first Sunday. Catholic church, every day, every hour, every 15. Father, could you forgive me, Father, keeping that little boy you got? Nobody from deal with it. I was happy.
Uh-oh, gotta pause. Oh no, I'm gonna play this one next. This one next.
Appointed the first Polish bishop. I love that. Wasn't that much, but it was a step in the right direction. So I said, my God, the Catholic Church had finally appointed a Polish pope. God, will we ever get a black pope? And God said, yes, but not as long as I'm God. So white folks, you just got to go to a Baptist church in the first time. And brothers, y'all need to go to Catholic church. Because you got to be serious. You got to have the Episcopal Christ. They got serious Christ. They put the holy of them. Wrapped in paint look like gold. Prayed over. Put on the prayer plate. Going from the Vatican here. Guards guarding it. So no sin can get in it. I walk down there. They open up that place. Baptist church. Brothers out of the Episcopal. White Episcopal
gosh.
Take one cracker, look at this power. Nigga walk out there and it's 3 people. He hit that cracker and it breaks 3 times. He walk out there 10,000, nigga take the same cracker and hit it, break 10,000. Get another cracker. That's power. You black ministers in the house, do I have to respect you? You know, you young punks on the black church ain't that for about. How you get in the black church? You never been in the black church in the summertime and it was hot, in the wintertime it was cold, and you don't have to pay for that. Well, you ripping off grandma, well, I'd rather see my grandmother in the Baptist church giving the money than in a crack house or in a bar. Because at least whatever I give to the church, it don't mess up my living kidneys like alcohol do. But I would not let you Negroes, I'm saying it in the house with white witnesses, you know I ain't lying. Not let you all come to my church, because I know it. You get paid trying to pay all the racist institutions, utility bill, the car bill, the note. They don't want to come to me on Sunday and give me some change. That's my church. Matter of fact, y'all would pay 2 blocks before you got in the church. Yeah, I ain't gonna take a chance on y'all getting in. Well, you go to a movie, don't you? Don't you pay before you get in? And if you don't like the movie, do they give you your money back? Same with my church. And you couldn't bring none of those snotty-nosed children. I mean, they be howling and screaming, and y'all sit there and act like that's normal. That little child scream on Super Bowl Sunday, Papa, throw him out there. Brother, do you remember you was a little boy, your mom and dad, they take you to church?
Yep.
And they would give you some money to put in.
I went to the store.
No, I'm talking about way down.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about just a little boy sitting there.
Yep.
And they give you, do you remember how much they gave you the first time?
Probably a nickel.
A nickel, hear that shit? A nickel. A nickel. Now, what would you expect me to do? I'm sitting there looking at you. They put a nickel. You sitting there with some $270 sneakers on. You gave me a nickel. 3 weeks later, 4 o'clock in the morning, my phone rang. Who is your mama? Bubba, got a temperature of almost 600. You got a whooping cough. You got everything you can have, Brother Gregory. We just need a little prayer. I ain't got no nickel prayer. I don't even know how to say a nickel prayer. But you, man of the church, yeah. I'm gonna help you out. What shall I do? So you put that boy in the bed facing east. You put them Nikes in there. And y'all pray to them Nikes. Who you give your money to, who you give your power to. And first, let me apologize to you white folks. Very seldom I'll make a mistake. But I always believe white folks that I thought y'all believed all colored folks look alike. I ain't gonna lie. I did. Until Obama become president. And I haven't had one white person walk up to me and say, "Excuse me, Mr. President." And I said, God, if I could be born over again, just let me be born white. And I mean that. You white folks are the luckiest. You're fine, Negro president. You'll get a behaved president. Niggas don't yell, don't scream. Oh, y'all funky enough. Nice, kind. Y'all know I ran for president in 1960. Yeah. You don't have to clap, and I won. I asked for a recount. There's a difference between me and most of you. I will not lie. The day after I won, I'd have a press conference. Say, black folks, y'all don't need to tune in this shit. I'm talking to white folks today. There will be no white folks in my cabinet. And you black folks go crazy. He didn't mean that, so I'll say it again. No white folks in my cabinet. Now, you can listen to that nigga if you want to, but I'm the president. And you black folks will be mad. So I'll make an announcement the next day. My cabinet have nothing in it but Negroes, and any of them went further than the third grade do not qualify to be in my cabinet. And my rationale, 200 years, nothing but powerful, rich, educated white men have been in the cabinet. And if they mess this thing up like this, let's try something different.
Okay, gotta pause. Oh no, it's gonna play now.
Give me my secretary of defense. See the white folks interviewing him now on Meet the Press. Mr. Secretary, what are you planning on doing about the fence? At first, I'm gonna fix it, then paint it. And I'm not gonna end war. I'm gonna replace it with your dogs. I'm seeing white people going crazy now. You can't take my boys like you used to.
Wow.
That's why I knew. McVick, oh, and I knew he didn't know that. Oh, he's glad I just signed $100 million contract. I'm swearing to you, man. I live in Massachusetts, rich white folks. Neighbor across the pond is Steinway Piano area. Up the hill is Ocean Spray. Them serious white folks. They hire a nanny to change their baby diaper. You know what I'm saying? Them rich folks go get a nanny to change the baby diaper, but walk their own dog and pick up the dog shit. Serious about stuff. My oldest brother, he just really made big. He wanted to be white, so he moved out to California. LA, where the rich white folks live. Got in the Japanese garden. And you remember the day when the Mexicans took a day off? The white folks, we ain't gonna tolerate it. And all the white folks had to stay home, including my brother. Sitting out there, that's the first time he found out his children didn't even speak English. Somewhere, the difference. America tricks us. See, my problem was I wanted to live around with white folks and go to white school because I didn't know y'all tolerated what we tolerated. And I found out you did. Bin Laden was killed December 01. Any of y'all know that? Fred, you black don't think you Soviet. December 01, and all that trash that happened 18 months ago with the Navy SEALs. Y'all remember that? Do you know all 6 of the Navy SEALs have been killed in America? Any of y'all know that? 5?
Bodies in Florida.
Huh?
I read 2 bodies of Navy SEALs members were found in the swamps of Florida. 2 of the bodies.
I know y'all understood it, man. It's very important. Would you stand up and slowly say what you just said?
Exactly what I said, sir, was that I read in the paper that 2 of the bodies of the Golden Seals members were found in the swamps of Florida in this country.
Yeah, well, the 5 of them died in Plainview. And the other one, the 6th one, the one, he died on a rifle range with Navy SEALs, shot in the head. This is America. They don't know that evilness begets evilness. I thought I had, maybe I didn't bring it.
I guess they missed that money.
A lot of y'all too young to remember Lee Harvey Oswald. Y'all remember the Oklahoma bombing? What was his name?
Timothy McVeigh.
Oh, yeah. What Timothy what?
McVeigh.
Huh?
McVeigh.
Say he wasn't a terrorist, though.
Huh?
They say he wasn't a terrorist.
They say he wasn't?
He wasn't.
You see the,
Oh,
see the
wow.
date on that paper? Yeah, hold it for a minute. See the date. Listen to this now.
April 22nd, 1998.
April 22nd, 1998. What paper is that?
Washington Times.
Washington Times. Conservative Washington Times. What the headline say?
FBI paid
So they can
mortgage.
hear you.
FBI paid mortgage on
Nigga,
the
stop
Coles.
trying to be cute. Drop it over. You got a good bass voice, man. Damn, man. Huh? I know it's your voice. Change it like you do when you get scared. Just here, oh, here you go.
On the Coles home.
Oh, listen to this now. Tell them quiet it, because y'all need to hear this. Go ahead.
FBI paid mortgage on the
Wait. Read it slow and loud, because they need to hear this.
FBI paid mortgage on the Coles home.
The FBI paid his mortgage while y'all sitting here thinking y'all in a free society and thinking you this and that. Go ahead, finish. What does it say?
Denver, FBI paid mortgage on the payments on Terry Nicole's home after he was arrested.
After he was arrested, okay? All right. So y'all sit around here and think all this bullshit. All of y'all is niggas. All right? Y'all got a bunch of evil folks. Huh? Again, this is after he was arrested.
FBI made mortgage payments on Terry Nicole's home after he was arrested.
Now listen to what the FBI says. Listen, go ahead, listen to this.
And before he was convicted of conspiring to bomb the Oklahoma City federal building, court documents show.
Now, y'all don't leave here thinking y'all some free ass folks. You not. They'll close this thing down anytime they want to because they know you nothing but damn fools. They give you women and niggas and Mexicans to play with. You better have fun. Right. Now listen to this. This is more important than what you just heard. Listen.
A Justice Department spokeswoman said she did not know immediately why the government made.
Now she didn't say they wasn't paying. All right. She said immediately, I don't know why they paying this mortgage. What she say after that?
Why the government made payments for the amount. The mortgage payments were.
No, go back. Why? She don't know immediately why the government.
Why the government made the payments, nor the amount.
You don't know the amount. She has not denied. This ain't some punk in the street. This is a Justice Department official. But since I don't know why they pay all how much. Go ahead, brother.
The mortgage payments were disclosed in a court
In a
filing.
court case that Ralph Shulman carried. A court case. Had to go into court because they was tired. Okay? Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Shall I continue?
No. Somewhere. What they say those what they September 11th. They said, oh, we don't know where they learned how to drive. In simulators.
In Florida.
But they ain't never told us who owned the school.
No, they didn't.
Listen to this now. Hear this good.
Flight schools owned by Buffett, I, and WTC Pro. A Florida flight school investigators believe was a training ground.
Wait, you missed up. Go back here. Oh, listen to this now. Flight school owned by who?
Buffett.
Buffett, Warren Buffett.
Yep.
Huh? One of the most respected pockets on the planet. He owns the school.
Yeah.
But y'all don't hear it. Every now and then you get some papers that will come out and say
The truth.
okay? The reason I don't care what y'all think about my truth don't have to be validated by me. I was in you a couple of days ago, the white boy asked me, put it back. How come you think you're not dead? I said, because I'm alive. Understand real. Gun, don't have no gun, listed in the phone book. Don't need nobody. God, I pray can't protect me against those. But I'll be the first one because God knows that for the truth. It was my research and Mark Lane's research that made it have a Kennedy King assassination investigation. A little poor navigator black boy on the floor. Well, that's why I don't know. Did more to find out what happened. $1 billion family like the Kennedy. Thank you for having for this kid.
So now you know what I was telling
And
you.
they do it every day. They probably some shit like.
The 4:30 wake up.
Chicago Tribune, one of the major newspapers in the world. What's the date?
Friday, March 10th.
Sure, I'm glad I couldn't bring me that.
You should handle it.
Oh, that's all.
FBI memo, use mob against Dick Gregory.
Now that's the front page Chicago Tribune. Who? Senator Tellers. Chicago Bureau. But I got the memo from Beatty. I got the memo. And here's what the press said. Headline, right across the front. Not another paper in America ran this story. But they got a memo that I sent to kill Hoover. You hear me? No, I read it again. Listen to this guy.
FBI memo, use mob against Dick Gregory.
Man, your voice changed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
FBI memo, use mob against Dick Gregory. The late J. Edgar Hoover ordered the Chicago office of the FBI to develop measures to neutralize Black comedian Dick Gregory. Suggested the measure.
Yo, y'all walk around with this. I'm out here every day. Huh? Exposed. While y'all looking at some damn football game. And all this game is tricks and things. You hear me?
Yep.
Somewhere, you will pay for that. Your children will pay for that. I think about kids. Somebody asked me the other day, what's wrong with the king children? I said, the niggas is crazy. They all crazy. Why? Do you know what you would be like if you was 2 years old and somebody called the house and King answered the phone and they say, nigga, we're gonna blow your house up, kill all y'all. And you can't call the police because the police made the call. As a father, as a mother, think about it. You just got to call your 4 children there. You can't go outside. But worse than that, the children see a look on your face that they've never known. And they've with you ever since they're born. What do you think they do to your boy? You black folks take your children to Disneyland to see a rat. But they never get in the king's tomb or the grave. Who do you think you are? Huh? And had he not died, you wouldn't be welcome to Disney. But you go all over the world in this nasty country and kill folks that's never done anything. That's what this is about. But it's about to come to the end. About to come to the end. Thank God for Obama. You know what? Let's go back 6 years ago. He was born. White. Laugh me like that. Y'all hear me? 6 years ago. She's born. A white woman. 2 more years, you'll be 80. Obama's term will be over. And all the white folks on this planet have etched in their memory bank. For the last 8 years, the most powerful human being on the planet is a black man.
That's real.
In the next election, a white person will win. And you'd be saying, I didn't know a white person could be president of the United States. See, that you can't change. Mom and dad don't have nothing to do with that little child thing there. And white folks always had an easy way out. They couldn't read, they couldn't write, just pull out any, but they could go to bed and I say, at least I ain't no nigger. They can't say that. They can't say that. They catching hell from all over. They say, this nigga's on TV all day. Say, let's get up at 3 in the morning. On camera 4, maybe the nigga be asleep. And then get up and see 2 white boys on TV talking about they love each other. And they kiss each other, and both of them prettier than his wife. See, all of it's talking about having hope. You know, when a black man send your white children to college and they both gonna live with you and your wife in the basement because they can't find no job. See how? The universe take care of you. When you out there saying we're gonna change this for everybody. I have 10 children that went to college. The money I make, that's easy. I got them niggas out my house. You gotta be a genius to do that. And moved in a place too small for all of them to come home for Christmas. Here, so them niggas go skiing on Christmas. And sure enough, can't get in this house. And you got successful black folks. All y'all know them. But the world don't know them, so they got other folks thinking they don't exist. My oldest daughter got 2 PhDs from the London School of Economics in sex harassment at the workplace. She's the only person on the planet. She came in to testify for you. They can't bring nobody else in, but she's the only authority. Why am I telling you that? If it wasn't my daughter, I wouldn't know somebody black occupied that position. So the New York Times, the Washington Post, not going to tell you. Y'all got to stop believing all that stuff, huh? I used to hear my mama, big crime was committed. My mama said, I hope it wasn't a Negro. Oh, who do you hope it was, Christian? Or was it you, Italian? Oh, would it be better to say, oh God, I hope it didn't happen? Think that. Okay. So somewhere, you can move out of this. Huh? Courage. Huh? Honesty. What can y'all do? I got been a Christian all my life. Pray to God for a job. You know how stupid you got to be to ask the universe of God to put the whole universe together to give you a job? Hey, champ, you know what I need to take care of. You know, that's what prayers are about. You don't pray twice for the same thing. That means you don't believe you're going to get it. You pray once, and from then on, you're in a prayer of thanksgiving.
Amen.
Huh? See how it works? How many of y'all know I had the worst form of cancer you could have? Worst. I had to type. My son's a doctor. He said, he said, this is the type you get working in a nuclear plant. I ain't never been in a nuclear plant. Don't nobody own nuclear plants but the government. So it's obvious I didn't go to a nuclear plant. The nuclear plant came to me. So I said my little prayer. And I'll be honest with God, some of y'all be bullshit. Oh, Jesus. Who can put the universe together that don't know you get about to get put out your mouth? So why you got to waste God's time telling them they're coming tomorrow? So why I got to waste time telling God I got cancer? I started my prayer and said, hey, champ, I know you're busy. I know something going on wrong somewhere in the universe, and it got you tied down. I know you know I got cancer, but here's what you might not know. There's a whole lot of niggas that deserve cancer, God, but I am not one of them. I'm talking to somebody that can make a difference. I'm not one of them. Now, if you need me to give you 12 niggas, I'll write them down. I got a couple in my house. Then when I got through, turned and looked at cancer. This is my body. Give you 72 hours to get out of there, or I'm gonna work on you again. 72 hours, I get a phone call. Dr. Christian said, I heard Joe Madison talking about on the phone what happened. He said, there's some water come off a mountain in El Salvador. Meet me. We go down there. Be gone in 5 days.
Chamber.
So one of the most powerful hospitals was Cedars-Sinai in LA. White folks feel thinking there's money in their ass down here. But now I'm super black, so a friend of mine's daddy invented nuclear medicine at Cedars-Sinai. Steve Barrett. Now I just ain't no ordinary nigga who I can just go down there to the White Hospital. So I made a decoy with the Howard University, black hospital. You hear me? So I go in, so it's on my record. So I went to this White Hospital, I let them brothers look at me. Now I go see the sign. And give me the test. And you got to be careful walking in someplace like you ain't got no money. You keep your damn mouth shut, don't nobody know it but you. Got to just walk in and White House, like white folks. Don't be all that, yo, no. My man, that's what white folks do. Thumbs on it. Walking in, dragging your feet. Oh, Lord. Just walk in. How you doing? What's happening, champ? See, rich white folk don't pay in advance. So I was walking there with that rich white attitude. I went in there. 3 months later, the bill came to the house. $1.5 million. My wife said, who's gonna pay for this? Let them repossess it. Now hear this. I go down there, I was like, 5 days. I go back out to see my friend, see the son. He cried. He said, I don't know where you've been. We should close this hospital down for South. See, y'all be shouting about God. Huh? Y'all be saying scared prayers. Let's pay up all the bills and get ready to die. I'll just give it to me, you know. That's what it's about. Why is homeless people in the street and you gonna decide, I'll be with that nigga and get some whiskey? How you know? But if you feel that way, every Monday, all you a dozen hard-boiled eggs and put them in your purse. And when you see a homeless person out home, just put one of them eggs in it. You know what I mean? Like you ever cook hard-boiled eggs? You got to do it right. See, you niggas be out there cooking the eggs, giving away with no salt and pepper. The man, he ain't got no high blood pressure. You got it. Get that nigga some salt and pepper. Hard-boiled eggs take good salt and pepper. You won't be cooking for yourself. And things change. Things change. You hear people talk about it every day. I used to hear my mama say, you know, some of them black folks pray when they gamble. You know, did your mother and father say y'all don't never pray when you gamble? My mama told me that shit. I thought it was okay till that Powerball went up to 400 million. I said, God, my mama don't know what she's talking about. Let me tell you.
Okay, let me see. Cancel this, because this is not mine. And then go back to my channel. I gotta escape. Oh, it's always something. So I want to share my channel, your channel. Go to videos one more time. And then we go to the most popular ones. That was my last one, Dick Gregory Part 6. Where is it? Part 6. This one.
I don't want to win it with 12 other people. I can do that without praying. I show God my ticket, because I got a brother. Praise him when he never bought a ticket. I said, that's a miracle, man. I look at a miracle. I showed God my ticket. I won't win. Then I had to tell God, you know my home. Man, after 10 years, I've been married to that black woman. 44 years. So I'm going to tell you what to do right about it. You know that. But now, God, I just want to say something. I don't think with that money I get funny with my old lady. But God, I ain't never had no $400 million. You know what I'm saying? People look different when you got big bucks, baby. I walk in that house and see my wife say, hey, what's wrong with your legs? Nigga, you know I've had this hump in my back since we've been married. I didn't see it till today. You have. Somewhere. Oh, gosh. So you have black on black crime. Black children, black children. Who told you that? They sprayed lead and manganese called chemtrails in the black and Mexican community every night. Once you get enough, you kill your mom. Once you get enough, you kill your mom. Okay, this is kidding for them.
Cancel. I don't think I had another piece, but gotta shrink my window here. Here we go. Going back to my channel. Go. Channel. Back to most. I think there is more to that video, but I just have to find it. I might not have uploaded it. Still might be on my camera. Sort by the most popular. This one. This one has a number of views.
Project management is.
Hi, my name is Darlene Anderson, and I've been a longtime advocate in Sacramento for families in poverty or for children in poverty. And so I want to talk to you today because my sister called me in a panic this morning about what she had witnessed on the light rail. We have talked about, what was going on in the light rail system over the summer, because really the past 2 years since the economy has kind of like tumbled, she's been on the bus. And so she's been catching the light rail out to the north area. And she said that this morning, what she saw was this morning early, there was a sheriff's car and there was a police car. And they were just hanging out at the light rail station, waiting for people who didn't have their tickets. And then she went to work, and then I guess when she got off, or she didn't, she went to volunteer. So we all volunteer in the community. We've been longtime volunteers in the community forever. So when she got off and started headed home, she was at Sacramento City College. And behind Sacramento City College were about 6 or 7 squad cars and a paddy wagon. And they were all waiting there. It was a big sting operation, all to take down families and people that were having hardships right now. And, with there are no jobs being here in Sacramento and no one hiring and regional transit passes have went up because gas prices are so high. And I guess, Roger Dickerson, who is our newly elected assembly member, he thought he was doing a great, providing great support for the corporate side, which is, regional transit. And he signed a law into a new law to improve supposedly passenger safety on the public transportation system. And the assembly bill was Bill 716. And I guess this is happening in the Bay Area too. That's why they're having so many incidents in the Bay Area of over law enforcement. And I think we're experiencing, for the African American community anyway, additional shootings there was a shooting at the BART station last year. There was a shooting at the BART station this year. And I think that we all need to be terrified of what's happening with our families and our children, because we're African Americans and we've really never been allowed to fully integrate into this system anyway. As far as employment goes, none of the federal dollars go to benefit our community. As far as the state dollars, sure, some African Americans are hired, but mostly we have more African Americans in the prison system than we have in the workplace. And so, you could look at the data all day long, but the dropout rate for African American kids is atrocious. But guess what? Somebody still gets a paycheck. Somebody gets paid to work with African American families, even if they're not providing any support to them. There's no oversight in the state of California for the public education system. And what I'll say is that the only oversight there is that you, as a parent, have to learn how to stand up. But when you stand up too hard, I have seen parents be taken totally under, where their children have been arrested, their families, their houses have been raided. This is just fighting for public education, basic things. I mean, I've been working with a family whose children were special ed in Elk Grove, and they really came after that family. I was so shocked. My father did 26 years in the Air Force. I've never witnessed some of the things that I witnessed here. I guess I was kind of like away from a lot of the things that happened in the struggle for the fight for civil rights, simply because my stepfather was in the Air Force. And when he retired here in Sacramento. And I want to say it used to be that Sacramento was a great place to come and live. But over time, I want to say Sacramento's become for the haves. And if you have not, you don't have to worry. I think they encouraged a lot of people to come here because the welfare system was it gave people money and people came. But the whole thing is that if you got on the welfare system, you didn't do any better. You didn't get a job. You stayed on the welfare system. And so a lot of people winded up not educated and not employed because all of the transition for employment kind of really stopped happening in the 70s. And so now we find ourselves in sitting in a system where the public education system is failing children and putting them out of the public school system from kinder to third grade. And I said, well, how do you expel a kindergartner? Somebody tell me that. But, there's no oversight. Our local governing boards are allowing kinders to be expelled. And you would have to ask yourself, well, what's really going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Some people have jobs and have had these jobs for more than 30 years. And the failure rate hasn't changed. Actually, the failure rate's gotten worse for African-American families. And if you are not engaged in fighting for your children, you don't have to worry. Your child is not going to graduate. You can't accept the transfer from a full day program to a program that is 2 hours a day and think that your kid's getting a general education. It's not even a basic education. But I want to really target this bill because this bill, what's happening in Sacramento City Unified School Districts, they utilize the SARB process quite a bit. So that means that truancy prevention, SARBs are student attendance and review boards. And if you are not, your kid is not in school, you don't have to worry. Your student will be SARBed and your student will be moved from the public education system to a behavioral program or an independent study program, and where there is really no oversight in the district about how well those programs do. And I want to say when Betty Boone was at the capital city, that was the Independent Study Center, it was really working. But now the district has tripled their community day schools or independent study centers, and they have increased the number of academy programs with no oversight of the community. And I recently filed a complaint regarding these academy programs that the public has no input into about the data. The public has no oversight because the governing board's not even sharing information on how well these programs are doing. I guess I'm really getting frustrated with what's happening for families in poverty. And I decided to step up. I decided because this is a new media, a way to get the word out. And 2 minutes at the governing board is never going to be enough to explain what's happening. And at least from my perspective, that I figured that, I should step up. But this assembly bill, how it affects our families is that if you have 2 or 3 children in high school, but you can't afford to send them all. And so, maybe all of them don't have a bus pass. Maybe all of them don't go to school at the same time. I don't know. I just know that I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And I know that if you're a student in college, if you don't have your bus pass and you're standing at the light rail, you don't even have to be getting on the light rail. They may see it as an intent to get on the light rail. And if they see it as an intent to get on the light rail, well, you're going to get a citation too. And this, is all kind of like pimping on poverty. I say poverty pimps. California, the new poverty pimps, because if they can get enough people that are in poverty that they can take their dimes away from them, well, that's just giving it back to the people who are entitled. And so we have so many law enforcement. I swear I see law enforcement all the time. And I'm more afraid of law enforcement than I'm afraid of criminals on the street. And I kind of stay home because I don't want to be bothered with any of it. I want to be bothered with law enforcement. I want to be bothered with criminals. And I do know that even in your home, you're not safe from law enforcement because of what they're doing to people's personal devices in their home in Sacramento with Comcast and AT&T and this network management thing where they'll slam your computer and shut it down. And even if you just paid for it 2 years ago, as soon as the warranty's off, you don't have to worry. They tell you to go call the Geek Squad because probably, you don't know it, but the Geek Squad is the people that come and fix your computer and make it so that, you have to go seek some support for a computer repair person. I'm just really tired of no one speaking up on behalf of families in poverty. And I don't care what kind of organizations are here claiming that they're trying to provide support for our families. The deal is that mass communication is not happening. There are so many families that have no idea about what's happening. They see the students on the street and have no idea about why there are so many children in the street. But you could be on a minimum day and they classify students, so many students as special ed, move them to special ed and put them on a minimum day. That's more, the devil's workshop is an idle mind. And so, you have more kids on the street waiting to be taken to jail. And I'm just going to say that, we as community members have to find ways of speaking out and start speaking out because we are risking our personal freedoms, losing everything that we've gained since the 60s. And so I'm standing up and I encourage you to stand up too. So thank you and have a good night.
I'm going to stop my share, escape. And what I'm going to say is that, in America,
on this broader issue, I know it's so important to all of us and of course to millions of Americans. I also want to thank Dr. Newman and Children's National for hosting us today. And my gratitude to Nurse Monique Colley and all of the doctors and nurses and technicians and staff that I had to.
Now I can stay live and still, I went out of my Google Drive, my YouTube channel. Here we are, and I am living in Clark County, and I'm grateful to be living. A little brassy out here. The light's on, but the light's going to go off, and it's going to get really, really dark. And so this is 2022, and this is May. And Clark County keeps on trying to ask the community, what should they do with that $777 million? It's almost $1 billion. And the state got that money for learning loss. And then learning loss is just learning loss. But the people, how the money actually came to Nevada. Curious? Well, don't be so curious because they use census data. So as you filling out those forms for the census, making sure people understand what's happening. They count all of the people, and then the money comes back to the local community, and you get to participate in the process. It's called voting. But if you don't know nothing about what you're choosing and you're just going along with organizations and groups, then you need to check yourself, because we have just wrecked everything in our nation. As what? As what we can't see. You don't see what I see. And I know that's true, because perhaps we would be coming together and meeting. And perhaps when I come to your meeting, you would allow me to talk. But people get all caught up in who they are and what they've done and where they are in life. And this is a journey. And I know where I am. But where are you? The reality is that we're just not talking about it. It's so disconcerting that the public education system is broken, but we don't understand that lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, they are not murdered, but Black people have been murdered. Since Amadou Diallo was murdered in 41 bullets. I heard that lady talk about it. But then understand, what did we witness when George Floyd was murdered? Did you guys see the resistance? I still have it just warps my mind that we have to talk about these things, because we have to watch, and we all had to listen to him cry for his mama when we knew he was dead and his mama was dead. What were they trying to prove? I'm just trying to understand the Ahmaud Arbery case in the first place. Those men murdered him, and they deserve to be punished. But then we understand the impact and the transition in Georgia. They got 20 years to life. I don't know. 20 years to life. And 20 years in a person's life is like forever, especially when you're that old. But when a father and son do go to jail, what are you saying? And then we know we have Mitch McConnell over there in the Senate. And he was talking about how he's not going to let Obama be in office a second term. And guess what? We said, oh no, Mitch, you don't get to choose. It's e pluribus unum, it's out of many. We will be the ones to forward the change that has to happen. But what does the work even look like? My people, I promise you, you don't understand what the work looks like. But the people who are paying themselves, they damn sure do. And public education is overseen by who? Did you ever ask yourself that? No, apparently not. Simply why? Because public education is overseen by the public. But as a member of the public, when you attempt to join organizations that represent your interests, then they don't allow you to participate. And I'm saying, oh no. Did someone think I needed them to be able to stream on Facebook, or to be able to stream on YouTube, or to even understand what was happening? It's a level of competency, and it's a reality. And it's a function of where we are in 2022. We have not made a determination, and I promise you, Nevada can't spend that money because they had it allocated to all these subcontractors, and they don't have the right to subcontract. I mean, there's just rules that Nevada's coming across all of this red tape. Boom, 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 boom. It's an emergency. And it's emergency because, we have to understand that monkeypox isn't out here, but we've had AIDS epidemic. We have an epidemic in syphilis. Come on, people. Stop laying up. What is the purpose when Black men are killing their children? Why? Hello? Who are we as a people? Because I have to ask that question. There is an awesome program out there called Clubhouse, but the Negroes in the room just defaming each other, slandering each other, just so negative and nasty, and trying to prove what? That they're intelligent. They lack intelligence. And that's just a choice. I can't force you to respect yourself. And as you would talk about yourself as a openly whorish kind of person, know that monkeypox is coming. Bump, bump, bump. Y'all didn't hear. It's an emergency. Monkeypox is coming, and it's transmitted sexually or through body fluids. Nasty people. That's how come we were wearing the gloves and the mask. And I wear my gloves and I mask every time I go out here. I try. Oh, it's a difficult time to have that mask on sometimes. I need to check my phone because my sister's supposed to be leaving my mom at the hospital at 9 o'clock, and I didn't get a report. And so, no, there's no report of her condition. I'll just have to wait. But I know my mother's doing okay because they will call me if she's not. You know, it's a blessing to have parents. It's a blessing to have family. But if you don't understand the blessing in who you are, what the hell are we talking about? Individually, we have to understand what empowerment really is. So when I created the podcast, the Parent Empowerment Hour, I thought about how our parents even see public education. It's mandatory, you know? You have to be there. And it's part of requirements. It's part of that compulsory process. And you don't even understand as a Black person what that means, but you would pay your taxes. Huh. And then to put people on Regency, and that just means that Kendrick Lamar, all of those wonderful singers are going to be getting down there and performing on the strip where? Here in Las Vegas, where Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. Understand the billions of dollars that flow through the streets and understand the millions of dollars that flow out of here. Because this money in, money out, money in, money out, it doesn't really matter. This is America. And you can only pray that the Lord is blessing you someday, that you get your blessing. I'm out here on the back porch, and if that light goes off, I'll be really, really dark. But, you know, I'm just really getting frustrated because when I listen to the young people of today, my son is right. They don't give a fuck about anything. And they are so disrespectful, especially the ones that think they got a little bit of money. But know this, boo. You making that money, I hope you're paying your taxes because tax day is coming. And for people who really don't understand how the American system actually works, well, I promise you, it works in a manner, it just creeps up on you. And then one day it hits you all in the ass. And then where do you end up? In the penitentiary. Yeah, they got rules for you. You want to pay your taxes, boo? They got tax evasion people. It does come and it does catch up with you. So it's always better to document the work that you're doing and write it off. See, I told you it would be, just dark out here. Boom. And then I would be really pitch dark and then lighten up. And the real deal is that, 2 hours, I'm coming on 2 hours for my Zoom. And guess what? I don't think there's a time limit on YouTube because that's where I am. But then I can share everywhere. And who are we and when do we plan on waking up? I don't know. I don't even have a thought about it. I know that some people are advocating, but what they're advocating for? Well, when Nevada just refuses to allocate the money in the manner in which it was, because, local control means locally, the local people on the ground are making decisions about what's happening for the kids in the schoolhouse. But when the district has maintained the authority, when the state has maintained the authority to determine how the dollars are allocated to the local school site and determining that schools in high poverty areas and that work with children who are slow to motivate, lackluster, behind in units. Well, when the state can determine to just put temporary teachers over there, it's not relevant because they have a place for you. And it's called the prison system. Snoop sung about it a long time ago. Did you get out of the jail? And then you only turn around to go back into the pen. And then when you get out of the pen, you turn around and go back into the jail again. And it's that vicious cycle. And it's amazing how white boys can talk about poverty and living in the system. And when they really get it, then they got a little bit of money, and then they make a lot of money. A little bit of money takes them to a lot of money. And that's just it. And who determines what's relevant? Well, I got to tell you, I find that little clubhouse program so amazing, but it's so vulgar. How long can I sit in the room? Motherfuck this, shit, fuck this, you the bitch, all this other stuff is just out there. And they're not relevant because they want to talk about what they know and they don't know shit. Because I'm going to tell you, if you have a child in any state in America, that child is not your child until you go to the system, the court system, to ask for permission to be the overseer of your child. Get custody, boo. But if you ain't never got no custody, well, you don't understand the harvest, because there are so many people that control what happens in your home, especially when you become unresponsive. And you perhaps were never responsible. That's why we have so many homeless people out there. It's mental illness. And we have to address what's happening. But some people feel that the scope is just too grand. But as long as we have to live in this cesspool of dysfunction, where people don't follow through with their jobs and people don't follow through with the oversight process of how things are coming out or how they're measuring the benefit. And know that if you understand the process, you get the benefit. I could go get a job today if I wanted to, but why would I want to work in pain? I refused to, as I was poisoned by my last employer. And eventually that I will be rewarded, just rewards for that too. Chronic pain is a reality. And people would put you in danger and never admit to the danger they put you in. And that's just real. But life is all about how you see it. What's your limited perception? Because bing, 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 we are human capital. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner perhaps we can save America. But this election process is demonstrating that if a TV personality, just as we respect the entertainers that make decisions on the behalf of us, well, I just don't know. And it's something I perhaps will never understand. But I don't understand how people are losing their children to the system and have hundreds of thousands of children in foster care, millions of children. I think they said 6 million children in the foster care system. But then we have Human Services, the Department of Health and Human Services, which gives out grants, federal money to local nonprofit agencies who are not obligated for shit because they're third-party providers. But if they're not making a difference for Boo, well, come on. They ain't making a difference for you either. The reality is that we are human capital, but in 2022, what will you do? The word is e pluribus unum. Out of many, there's one. But out of one, there may be none. And what are you willing to do in 2022? Like, subscribe, follow me on my Anchor podcast here. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook, Darlene Phillips Anderson. Go and read some of my chicken scratch based on, I used to write all the time based on what was happening in politics under the Obama administration. But when Obama got out of office, it was really kind of terrifying to even face what we had to face every day in Donald Trump. And sure, he may have created so many opportunities for the movement of people that traditionally had no support. And now new support is there, but that support was always there. The reality is, how were people choosing to utilize the resources? And I can tell you, I promise you, inappropriateness is where you find in these programs. And y'all just keep it up on Clubhouse. The FCC is going to shut y'all down. A lot of that stuff was so disgusting. But when you have minors in the room and you're talking that way, when you have young people, believe me, you're young people, but you too will have the lesson as bing, 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 human capital. That's what we are. So anytime you have to subscribe and buy subscriptions to continue to use your Microsoft, well, I'm just trying to say, annually, pimping ain't easy. But it's just like when they changed the light rail system and they determined that, they were going to give tickets out. Who do those tickets affect? Even when you get a jaywalking tickets, you don't have the money. When you don't graduate from school, what the fuck is going on? And how is it that every single year, African kids who are Black, kids who are in high poverty, people with melanated skin aren't making it? But yet and still we need more and more and more and more money to offer a basic opportunity that we can't measure. And I'm sorry. No, it doesn't go like that. I continue to age, but that's all right. I'm still here. The light didn't come back on. Ooh, the light didn't like me this time. And it really doesn't matter because I don't have to go away. In America, the word is the purvis unum. Out of many, there's one. But out of one, there just may be none. And what are you willing to do in 2022? Are you going to vote? I've talked to so many Black people. Girl, I don't do no politics. Ooh, girl, politics? Get out of here with that shit. We ain't got time. Guess what? You just paid taxes somewhere in April. And you have paid taxes your whole life. Because when you choose not to pay taxes, even in a choice of employment, somebody is paying some taxes for your ass. And that's just real. And as the tax system works, if you never file, that just means you didn't get your reimbursement. That's what it means, that the federal government got to keep all that money that was paid on your behalf when you were working, when you filled out your W-4. But see, people have access to your information. And here in Nevada, I feel that these are just criminals. How could they have all of my information and then be foolish enough, and I do mean foolish, to apply for unemployment in my name? When I know I haven't worked since 1997, 96, I know that. But you're so ignorant that you would go ahead and try to get money. So it just forewarned me. I had to put a fraud alert out there. Fraud alert, fraud, fraud, fraud. To block my credit cards because somebody tried to write a check and was going to get some cash money from me. These motherfuckers are smart. Do you hear me? But these are Nevada residents who have been stealing for years. And, the last live stream I did on YouTube, somebody made it private, but my personal preferences are all public. I ain't got shit to hide. But guess what? Switched it really quick. I never say my videos are for children, but they're for people who look like me to get a clue. Because pimping ain't easy, but it is what they do. But we have allowed this shit to continue excessively. We don't even know the system. And then we pretend that everybody got a goddamn solution, and we don't even have a process to follow, meaning that we can't talk about what the work looks like because everybody's not going to agree that the work begins at the moment of conception, especially when you decide to keep that baby. And then you have to have a job. And how are you going to feed that child? Well, even if your girl gets food stamps or whatever, living in a Section 8 house, they used to come and drop in people's homes when they receive government benefits. But when I listen to how they talk about unemployment here, like it's a government benefit, no, boo. It was a protection that was written in place to ensure access. So, when school districts can hire people partially during the year and then give them no health care, give them no retirement, this is a public service. I just need to understand what the fuck am I talking about? They expect people to work for the public education system, meaning that you are a public servant. And then Nevada hasn't even guaranteed health care for the temporary teachers who are working with the most afflicted students. And I'm saying, okay, but you people don't think that I have a right to talk about that? No, you would ban me on Facebook because it's a social program that's local? I'm sorry. You didn't understand that, that's not part of the American dream. That's nothing I know about. But when you have these satellites and you have the ability to turn off somebody's car or make it act the fool, it's a real reality. There's a video on here. I want to know if I can find it. But it was when I was on Candlewood. Hold on, let me see if I can share my screen one more time. And it was funny. Oh, is that not my desktop? Nah, I can't do that just yet. I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, that's not it. Cancel. I don't know how to do it now. I'll share it again. Whatever. I did that, but I need to open up YouTube. Go back to Chrome. There we go. And then drag it back over here and open it up. And it's a funny video, but hold on, I'm gonna go to my channel. Playlist. No, not playlist. We'll go here. Videos. And you just keep going down until I see the one I want to show you. Because it's a funny video. This is all the videos that I've created since I've been here. And it doesn't matter. I mean, y'all don't understand. They do these presentations and they just exist. But if nobody ever goes online to understand what's happening, well, what difference does it make? Huh? And that's just real. We can only be who we are, and we can only understand what we understand. But if you don't understand nothing, I'm just trying to understand why I feel the urgency to get out here and beat the drum. Let's talk about what it is that we see, because you don't see what I see, and that's just real. How could it be? This chick is good. You guys need to understand this one.
I'm gonna ask a couple audience questions. I only have a few minutes, but Steve, I won't put you on the spot since you just Ray, I'll put you on the spot again. This has come up a few times in here. What role should the police department, I'm gonna broaden to the city as well, play in ending the school to prison pipeline? Broad question, I know.
I mean, no one gets to prison if they don't go through a cop. So, I feel like funneling our youth through law enforcement, suspension rates, discipline in schools that are unequally exercised against Black students, the perception of Black children as adults by teachers. It's not enough to identify that bias exists. We have to do something about it. As long as we allow our schools to be breeding grounds for criminal charges and police oversight and injection of law enforcement, we're going to keep funneling our young Black men into prison. We want to break the school to prison, to break the connection between school discipline and law enforcement. And the first thing when I represent a juvenile in court, one of the first things that I get to determine the judge is going to use to determine how serious they should handle this person's case is their school discipline report. Your kid was tardy a bunch of times, or they had trouble sitting still, or they didn't do well in a classroom that wasn't built for them, right? It ain't the kid's fault, right? If we can't adjust young Black children in our schools, that's our problem, not their problem. And the longer we try and treat them like they're doing something wrong and disciplining them and creating paper trails, that shit follows them their whole lives. So you want to stop the prison to school pipeline, the school to prison pipeline. Right now, my husband works for Dr. Prince works for an organization called Urban Peace Movement. And they recently met with some Alameda County officials who shared that on their first day on the job, they've been approached by the private prison industry. And what the private prison industry uses to make projections, business projections going forward, right, are the passage rates of reading in schools, right? Black children can't read, they're seeing dollar signs for the future of the private prison industry. So what we need to do is invest in our youth and stop criminalizing them as children, break the connection, right? Between what the school can do, law enforcement can do, and what the district attorney can do. Okay, now I'll get you started. No, this is another one.
Okay, that was real. We need to break the connection between what law enforcement can do, you know, what the district can do, and what the county can do. And the real deal is that we don't even understand the connection. But these kids they have nothing but a paper trail. And that's just real. And anybody can add anything in your paper trail. Do you understand what I'm saying? That you cannot control what is in your record as a student. But when you open your mouth as a child trying to do self advocacy, you better believe they're not going to appreciate it. And they're going to do everything they can do to get rid of your ass. So the real deal is okay, we don't know who we are. That might be a real deal. But we must learn. And we are running out of time. I haven't gotten to, okay, this is when I was in Sacramento. Let's see. These are not getting a lot of hits, but these are so important. Let's just talk about this one first. Yep. This is before I came out
those
here.
kind of things would kind of happen with the administrators. The public would contact them and, organize what the city has to offer and try to start that training program. They wouldn't have to come all the way to the board and wait for the board to tell the staff what to do. I don't know, it's kind of a little backwards. But let me just talk about what I wanted to talk about, the zero tolerance and the behavioral stuff that should have come through the LCAP process and that quite clearly has not been addressed yet in this district. And to me, welcome, superintendent. You have a big job. I don't envy you a bit. But I will say, to me, the plantation offered a lot of behavioral modification. The offer of faith in California is an offer of faith, whether it be behavioral or academic. We're putting too many children on the street. And when you look at African-American children, they're not making it at all. The offer of faith for an African-American child had to do with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment that said that California would offer their youth who had formerly been enslaved an opportunity to get a basic education. We are putting these children in jail. We are creating a jacket that starts from kinder. And I'd like to see the data on how many kids actually have behavioral problems from kinder all the way to the 8th grade. So we know exactly what's happening and that perhaps the board can give some recommendations to staff about what can be done to transition those students to, instead of collecting data, because the jacket is real. It follows them right to juvenile hall. And I just think that, being who I am, I've been very outspoken. I've been very successful with my children, but unable to be helpful to other parents, simply because when I go to their IEP meetings, nobody does anything. They just sit. So the last 2 years that I worked with the high school student at John F. Kennedy, he still only got no credits. And he tried to do the summer program thing, but it was unsuccessful simply because he has some needs that have not been met. And I would just like to see more effective use of our public tax dollars, especially since we're all required to pay the same tax dollar and every student generates the same amount of money, but the voices are not being heard clearly. So I would like to see African-American people having more of an opportunity to work and engage with communication with the board for more accountability. I just like to see that happen. And so thank you for letting me go over a minute.
Yep, thank you very much. Any other public comment?
Oh, just pause, and go back to my channel. When you start living so long, I've lived a long time. And it is just going to be, that's just the way it is. And so we just really have to understand what has happened over time and the opportunity to engage people, that perhaps change some of the thinking that goes on, really. You know what I'm saying? I was looking for a funny video because there is one here and I just got to find it. A funny video. That's not it. As you can see, I used to go to the board meeting all the time. And that's just the way it is. And we used to have great times at the board meeting. I look forward to going to the board meetings, actually, because it was fun and challenging. And, it gave you an opportunity to explore the process of public education. These are all my many videos. Dale's up in here too. But, you just need to understand how politics actually works and what happens and how we don't know. Look, I went to the brick house and saw Najee. Oh, here we go. This is another one of me. Hi, this is Darlene Anderson once again, coming back with this Pimpin' Ain't Pimpin'. And I picked that because I wanted to pick something that was going to grab the attention of people who are on the internet or basically surfing the internet, just looking for something to look at. Or because, our worlds are so small and we're always waiting for someone to be able to relate to someone that, even in our music, in the programming that is provided on the public television, people are looking to shape your reality or shape your perspective, especially if you're only limited to being in the box. And the box, meaning how I see the box is the box that you live in. Everybody has boxes that they're confined to. Your box can be expanded by getting another box. Perhaps you got a computer, that's a box. Or even this camera is kind of like it's shaped in a box, I'm in a box. Or let's see, cell phones are a box. I mean, not everybody can afford the cell phone. Not everybody can afford the computer, but life is limited to your circle of participation, even in the neighborhood that you live in, or the resources that are provided in that neighborhood. And so, every life is just something that we're living and blessed to be living. So we have to talk about how we participate in that box. And so I was talking about the SARB, Student Attendance Review Boards, and you really don't have a lot of time to communicate that to other people, but people need to know that once they sign that annual parents' rights notification, and then they pull you in for the hearing or the beginning of the hearing, a lot of people, parents who don't want to be dealing with the district attorney, come on now, think about that. First, you were just thinking about how you were sending your child to school every day, as if that made a difference. And, I'm going to say attendance is important, but what's more important is that you have the ability to measure the progress of your child in the public education classroom. If you can't measure progress, and if you don't know what that teacher is how the teacher's trying to move those children, or how you can measure movement of those students in the classroom during the daytime, well, attendance really doesn't matter, because there are so many games at the school site that affect attendance in the classroom. If your child has a problem and they're pulling your child out to sit in the office with the principal, I don't think that child's learning. Or if your child is sitting outside the classroom door, which I've seen so many African-American kids during my 20-something years of raising my children, I've seen African-American kids or Latino kids or kids of color sitting outside the classroom, just sitting outside the door while class was going on. I don't think parents understand that these are some of the ways that teachers deal with kids who don't transition well. And I think that the need to understand what's going on while you're out there trying to make it for your kids, that stuff is happening. And then eventually your child doesn't really have the skills to participate in the classroom. And no one has afforded your child a set of tools to be able to participate. So pretty soon they're having a hearing and you're choosing what you're thinking is better for you as a parent, simply because you can't keep on coming up to the schoolhouse to make sure that your kid gets to stay in the classroom. You're going to take the option to do a home study. Let me tell you, honey, home study is just what it is. You're on your own. It's not a home school, because the school district assumes no responsibility that you get a home teacher or a home school provider. And they don't even I don't believe they tell a lot of parents that you have to go to the county office of education and register to find a homeschool provider, where a teacher is coming to your house to help you teach and train your kids. Because teaching and homeschooling is solely a choice
given to all citizens. Anyone can homeschool their child. But when you choose to do that homeschool option, you are totally responsible for educating that child and getting the resources, getting the books, ensuring that the child has technology. And, I was at the store one day and I seen a little boy. And I said, well, what are you doing out of school? He said, I go to the Success Academy. And I said, Success Academy? I almost choked. I said, what are you doing out of school? Because, that's basically your last stop in Sacramento City Unified School District before you're out on the street. And he said, yeah. He said, I'm homeschooled. And I said, wow, you really are homeschooled because you can't even say school. And if you got to the Success Academy, and that's the program that's supposed to be modifying your behavior, and they assume no responsibility, they screw you too by putting you out. And you're still being suspended or expelled. And I'm saying, wow, what have we come to? I mean, I think, I didn't get to experience it, except for maybe one time when we lived in Texas, is to go to an all-Black school. And I got straight A's. I was shocked. I thought that, well, coming from the military, it was the same opportunity. I was getting A's there too. But then when we left the all-Black school in Texas and went to the all-white school, I got straight F's. I even flunked square dancing. And then we left Texas and came to California, and one of my teachers was drinking. She kept her alcohol in the bottle in the drawer, and you could smell that every day. And, basically nobody was paying attention. But, I graduated okay. I wouldn't say I graduated at the top of my class, but I graduated okay. And then, really not understanding how education was going to affect my life, I don't think I utilized it, my skills to the best of my ability. I won't even say that. To the best of my ability, but it doesn't really matter. I think I've been very successful ensuring that my children have gotten a public education. And I fight very strongly to ensure that if you ask me for some support and I'll share with you how I ensure that my kids were being successful. And I will help you as much as I can to ensure that your child will be successful. But, the real deal is it doesn't matter what color we are in America. It just matters that we're citizens and that we have a right to be treated like every other citizen. It doesn't matter what color. They claim this is a melting pot. And as far as I'm concerned, I never experienced slavery. I don't know how it is to be a slave, even though every February in Sacramento, they make sure that you know what slavery was about. And they also make sure that you know what to be subservient, how to be a subservient African-American, meaning that I just don't know, Mrs. Talley. I don't know what happened, but I can ensure that it won't happen again. Just give me one more chance. And I ain't that either. That's what I can say. But I've seen a lot of maid movies where African-Americans were being the maid and where they had to send the dogs out to catch the runaway slaves. And my goodness, this is all mentally shaping the minds of our people. And when you go to the public education system, if it's only about behavior and no one's advocating for you to ensure that you know how to read and write, and then basically if they know you don't know how to read, how these teachers stand up in front of the class and demand that you get to the part of the book where you stutter and are nervous about your reading level skills, and they don't work with you independently. I don't know what that is. But to me, that is not an education. That is demeaning and demoralizing. That's what that is. So I think that people should be held accountable for their behavior. And quite frankly, when it comes to all these sending the kids to the detention center after school because your behavior was not acceptable in the classroom, I don't think you should be able to do it because it's called willful defiance. And what is willful defiance? It's all left up into the interpretation of the person that is issuing you that detention slip, because that really takes away from your educational opportunity. And it's actually being utilized to transition kids out of school, because by the time they have so many referrals to the detention hall, then they can hold a SARB hearing on you and move you right out of the school. They ain't even got to be responsible for you getting no education. They don't have to give you nothing. So, because, oh, you know why? Let's go back to that annual parents' rights notification slip that you signed, that you agree that whatever the district provides in a third-party manner, but that be your resource for an education. So they have no responsibility to provide you a FAPE. And what did I say a FAPE was again? A free and appropriate public education. What's appropriate? Well, I guess it's just deemed to whoever's being the provider, whatever commitment or whatever commitment level your school or your school site or your superintendent deems that it is, because not all schools are failing. Not all teachers fail. There are some very good teachers. It doesn't really matter what color they are. It just means morally what their value system is, who they are as a person, and what their commitment level is in life. Because really, when it comes down to it, we all take that first breath the same way, screaming and coming out your mama's behind. And we all die the same way. The last breath is the same. So whenever it's your time to go, you don't have no extension. You can't purchase no extension on life. And that's real. I mean, that's real. There are so many people that have lost their life, literally, are not here with us anymore. And they didn't get to buy an extension in life. When it was their time, it was just their time. But there are babies being born every day. And they didn't ask to come here. But we as human beings should be concerned about what system of accountability, what system that we live in. And as an American citizen, if you claim to be an American citizen, what services are being provided to all citizens, and how we have an ability to be able to utilize the services that are here. And this equity thing, this ensuring equality, that we get to benefit from the tax dollars that we all pay. The public trust, what does public trust mean? I think that some people really need to get online and find public trust and read what the public trust should be, and know that we ain't got no public trust. We ain't got no trust in the public trust, simply because the people that we elect don't really protect our interests. They don't really care if we benefit or not. They just care that they have the power to determine who gets the benefit. Now think about that. Public governing boards for school districts get to choose who gets the benefit of those public tax dollars. They don't measure the ability of the agency to be fruitful and multiply, basically, ensuring that it's a benefit. They don't do any of that. They just get to choose their friends and family members. And this is crazy that year after year, districts are uplifting people in the community because they can. And, they're not operating under any public trust. They're just operating because they can, because that's what they choose to do. Because they were lucky enough to be in the house early and then get to determine their livelihood and their success. And then also their friends and family members, they get to lift them up. And there's no equity in this. Think about it. Your tax dollars get to benefit somebody, but you don't get to have a say in it. And now with this new push to moving public dollars, meaning public trust dollars, meaning federal dollars and state dollars that go to the government and the city and the state and the local and the county. Now, these are your tax dollars. Everybody pays. Now, they want to move those to private industry. Well, that's where they were going anyway. But now they just want to skip the part to where you might have got a job, where you might have been able to be competitive and get a job and provide services to your community because you're a citizen and you pay some of those tax dollars. And if you go to school and you get the right education, and then you can be competitively competing for a job that would provide services to the people in the community. Oh no, baby. That day is over. That day is over because the Republicans push our state and county and federal dollars into private industry. Because for whatever reason, only the private industry can provide those services. Oh, yet still, what did I tell you about third-party providers? No accountability, no oversight, and no determination as to who gets to benefit from those dollars. Because who's in control? Let me tell you, baby, it's those persons and the people that you elected to, your elected representatives, that ensure that they get to control where your tax dollars go. And you put them in office. But then when you go to talk to them and tell them you're concerned as a citizen, all of a sudden, you are just one person. And what does it mean when you only have one citizen is coming to concern? You don't represent anyone. You only represent your own personal views. And so since I know I represent no one, I represent me. And I have the ability to share my voice to my children and my friends and family members, whoever wants to tune in. Quite frankly, I don't care who tunes in. Because, I can sit here for a few minutes and share my concerns with my community because I have a right to do that. And so therefore I do. And so there is so much that I can communicate to you, but I think I've done enough. I think I'm tired for the day. But I think that we all have personal responsibility to step up. And we start talking about third-party providers, which I'll go into a little bit more in a few minutes. I'm going to take a break right now. And thank you for tuning in. This is Pimpin' Ain't Pimpin' Unless It's Done in California. And this is Darlene Anderson. Thank you.
Okay, now I can go back to my channel. That was so long ago. My goodness. Oh, it is just what it is. Back to my channel, back to all my videos. Then go back. There's another one over here too. I still didn't find the funny video. It's not there yet. That's not where we are. We gotta go over here. Did they add it? Now go back down and see if I can find it any faster. Yep. And Dr. Oz. That's not it. This is really real. These people. Oh wow, it's just so much.
Children were abused at juvenile hall. Were your children abused? You don't know which way to turn, what to do? There's help out there for you. And we're having a class action lawsuit. We'd like you to get involved to see what you can help your child.
510-839-1200 and ask about the class action lawsuit. Your child could be entitled to some financial reward compensation. Even if he or she was a witness, they can still be entitled to some financial compensation. No kid should have to go through a correction facility and be abused. And we need to get the word out that there's money available. There's a class action suit going, and call the number and sign up.
Children were abused at juvenile hall.
That did happen. And these young ladies, they did win the lawsuit. Believe it or not, they won. And the problem was, how do you get our children into a position where they're trying to fight for the money? Because the money is there, just like the services are there. But believe me, you're not entitled to anything unless what? Unless you understand that you have an entitlement, and that's just real. So many people just chose not to, file for the CARES Act money because they felt that they didn't work, or they felt that that was the money they couldn't get because they had not worked. And here's my niece. I'm gonna let her sing for you. because I'm getting tired.
Hello, good afternoon. Like she said, my name is Missouri. Just a bit about myself. I did go to UC Davis. I majored in African American Studies and American Studies. And that was a while ago, and now I'm just a normal, regular person. Not that exciting. Okay, clearly there's gonna be something if I walk that way, so just stand over here. I was going to sing 2 songs. They're really short, and so I don't have music. It'll feel like one song. And the first song is called Strange Fruit, and it was made famous by Billie Holiday. And it's never heard this song. It's about the lynchings that were going on a lot in the 20s and 30s. It's kind of like a protest song, sort of. And the other song is God Bless the Child, also made famous by Billie Holiday. That's God shall have, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. While the strong get more and the weak ones fade, empty pockets don't ever make the grave. But Mama may have and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Money, you got lots of friends crowding round your door, but when you're gone and spending ends, they don't come round no more. Rich relations give crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. 'Cause Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. No, don't worry about nothing, 'cause he's got his own. Yes, he's got his own. Fern trees bear a strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black body swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree. Pastoral scene of the gallant South. Bulging eyes and a twisted mouth. Scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh. In the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here's the fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rise, for the tree to drop. Here's the strange and bitter cry.
That was my niece, Missouri. Holly. And that was, how long ago was that? My goodness. I don't even see the date on it. It was such a long time ago. But I'm going back to my channel here. Your channel. And what was I looking at? I was looking at videos here. And let's see if it's anything else I should share. Because, people don't even understand the purpose or the intent behind school organizational, communities. And this is the DAC when I was sharing it. Okay. As the chair.
Rich from Dana Grimes. Thank you. And Mike Simpson. Oh no, it's not Mike Simpson. Golden Empire now. Ron. Is he here? Present?
He's present.
Okay.
John.
John. And Isidore Cohen, Christina. And Molly is also Isidore Cohen. Then we have.
So what I'm going to say, what happens what was going on in Sacramento is all of the schools would send their chairperson, the person who signed their school site plan, to the district, and then they would talk there about what each school was doing. But you see here in Nevada, there's just no process that truly exists. And it's just kind of frustrating. Why frustrating? Because that is not the way that, your voice gets heard. You're disallowed the ability to engage in the process simply by those who have been running it for a long time. And you can really, going back to the oldest, you can really tell what is not happening as it doesn't happen. And that's just real. This is Graciela. Let's see.
Things that was, I think, very helpful to our principals is to understand the levels of supplementing support to our students. So if you look up in the turquoise section, that is the core program. That's the general operation and required program services. So that's the teacher, that's the principal, that's the textbooks that students receive. That's the very basic core program that all kids should be receiving. Then what was clarified for us is that the next level of support, for example, for intervention support, extended day program for students, any professional development for our teachers, the next level of support for our students that are below basic, and basic comes through Title I and state compensatory education. That's the next level of funding. That includes English learners, special ed students, any student that's in that level of needing additional instructional support should be.
I gotta pause that. Oh, gotta go back to my channel. Go back to the oldest ones. Because, at first, when I first started doing the videos, you could only upload for a few minutes. And so even though I had the videos on the on the drive, I could only do a few minutes. And, hey, it's just real. But because so many people, this is when Arnie Duncan came. And I went to see him. I hear something. Oh, I'm gonna stand up. I'm here, but I don't see anything. Okay, let's sit back down. I'm getting ready to go in the house. So I'm getting ready to end my video. I'll stop the share. And I will say that, in 2022, if you don't know what's happening, it's unfortunate that you would like to represent, but you're not representing because you're only bringing further harm. There are people out here that are doing the work that understand what the work looks like. And those are not the people that are talking, because those are not the people that know how to do what I do. But when I would invite them to the room, they wouldn't show up because they feel they know everything. Pimping ain't easy, but goddamn, they have mastered this. We are against each other and we are not standing together. And I do not understand, but I do know this. Life is about the data. And I have challenged the state, where is your data? And they are not moving forward until what? They produce the data for the process that has always been established for the oversight and accountability of the use of federal dollars in America. Bing, 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 wake up, your human capital. So as I speak today, I certainly hope that you enjoyed this live stream. I've been on here for quite a number of minutes, almost 3 hours. Awesome. I hope you tuned in. And if you didn't, please share with somebody who might else care.